Live from the WTXL studios, this is ABC 27's News at Noon.
Good afternoon, I'm Greg Angel. We begin this half hour with a developing story out of Connecticut. That is where it seems to have been a shooting at an elementary school. Now here's a photo. This is at Sandy Hook Elementary School. This is in Newtown, Connecticut, about 30 miles northwest of New Haven. Early reports say a teacher has been shot in the foot. Now ABC News has confirmed that one shooter is dead. ABC News also reporting that a second gunman apparently still at large. The initial 911 call came in around 9:41 a.m. Few details really known at this time. Information keeps coming in minute by minute. We don't know exactly how many people may be injured or the extent of those injuries. But again, apparent school shooting at an elementary school in Newtown, Connecticut. We, of course, will continue to follow this story, bring you any developments on air at WTXL.tv. Other news today, a renewed debate. The impact of the Affordable Health Care Act. State economists right now at the Florida Capitol drawing up new forecasts for the state budget. So far, they say it appears Florida's tax collections are going to keep growing over the next 3 years. Taxes could generate an additional $436 million. But a lot is still riding on the unknowns of the Affordable Health Care Act and the impact it's going to have on the state budget. Governor Rick Scott is going to rely on these forecasts as he draws up his budget recommendations for next year. Georgia lawmaker looking to give drivers who support a woman's right to choose the option to demonstrate their viewpoint with a specialty license plate. Democratic State Senator Gloria Butler of Stone Mountain looking to introduce legislation this session to offer pro-abortion rights after anti-abortion plates were approved. Just this week, a federal judge in North Carolina ruled the state offering specialty plates on one side of an issue but not the other is discriminatory and unconstitutional. Butler says that ruling motivated her to reconsider the amendment. Investigators in Franklin County this noon still needing your help to figure out who murdered an elderly woman. Franklin County Undersheriff says they discovered the body of 68-year-old Cynthia Green on Wednesday along State Road 30A. That's about 10 miles west of Apalachicola. Investigators say they do believe foul play is involved. Anyone with any information being urged to call the Franklin County Sheriff's Office at 850-670-8500. We continue now that developing story, a shooting at an elementary school in Connecticut. We join now the latest from ABC News in New York.
We know at least 3 victims are in the hospital at this hour in very serious condition. We know there was at least 1 gunman now confirmed dead. The school is still on lockdown. SWAT teams have been on the scene. We have seen the images of the terrified children being whisked out of the school, led by their teachers, and taken to a fire station nearby. And just moments ago, I spoke to the mother of a 7-year-old boy. In that fire station, there were 2 kinds of parents, those who received the joyful news of relief and those who are still in doubt about their children. She got the good news that her 7-year-old son was all right. Here's what she had to say. Did they give you any sense when you got there, when you got to the fire department area, what had happened? What did they tell you?
No, nobody is giving us, no officials are giving us any information. There's a parent I know who happened to be in the building at the time, and she's pretty broken up. She was in a meeting with the principal and some other people, and they heard shooting. They got up, they went out. And she had stayed in the conference room, and my understanding from her is the principal and other people got shot when they went out into the hallway, and she was the one who called 911.
So you talked to the person who called 911?
Yes, and she said that there was hundreds of shots, it sounded like.
Hundreds of shots?
That's what she said.
And were there families there who don't know where their children are?
Yes, there are still families here who do not know where their children are.
And were they giving them any information at all? Are there still
There's no information for those parents. They have the kids who were evacuated into the fire department house. They asked, as they've been taking attendance, they've been checking kids out to their parents. So some parents have secured their children and left with them, but there are still parents here who do not have their children and have no idea, and they're not being told anything.
What was your thought when you got this call? It is unimaginable. What was your thought?
I couldn't believe it. This is such a. We just moved here a year and a half ago from Providence, living in an urban area. We, thought we were coming to a much safer, secure place. Never would have thought anything like this would happen here. And it's a large town, but it's got a real small town family feel. And this is just unimaginable, and just very scared, worried about my son, worried about the other kids that I know here, and still just really in shock.
What is it you're going to say to your son about this? Have you thought about that yet?
I have not. I have not thought about that yet. And I mean, my daughter is in preschool down the street. I know her preschool's in lockdown, and I have an older son who's at the intermediate school for 5th and 6th graders, and they're in lockdown. I don't know what's happening there.
Well, again, I thank you so much for phoning in and everything that you've told us. Thank heaven your children are all right, and we just send you love and all of our thoughts for these days ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.
And again, we want to stress there's so much that's still unconfirmed. This is still a moving situation with breaking news. But let's check in with our Justice Department correspondent, Pierre Thomas. He has been talking to all of his sources there. Pierre, what are they saying?
Diane, the FBI and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms have sent personnel to the scene. They describe it as a very active scene. One senior official told me that the shooter is dead, that 2 firearms have been recovered. Again, a large number of federal authorities are coming to the scene, which suggests that there is a lot to investigate, and they're being very careful about talking about victims. The one official I spoke to said that he had been told of at least 2 children who had been injured in some fashion. Again, they're trying to get additional information from the local authorities, who are the lead at the moment, before they start giving out specifics on those injured. They are trying to make sure that the school is clear, and again, there's a lot of evidence to go through, but the main thing, they're trying to make sure people get safe.
Yes, especially those children with all those parents waiting for them. Thank you so much, Pierre, and I know you will be checking on adults and their condition and what we've been hearing, and as well as any injured children. And it's worth just saying once again that we know we are in these times 2.5 days after that shooting at the mall near Portland, Oregon, and by our calculation, at least 31 school shootings since Columbine in 1999. It is a truly tragic report coming out of Connecticut today, and we're going to be tracking all of these breaking details on the shooting throughout the day at abcnews.com. Be sure to check in with us. We'll keep you posted on the very latest there as we receive and confirm this news. And of course, we'll have a full wrap-up tonight on World News. I will be seeing you then.
That's tough news to follow on a Friday, with all the thoughts and prayers and love sent up to Connecticut, and it's just a heartbreaking thing to hear on a Friday. Stay with Wtxl.tv for the latest, and we'll have more about it throughout the day as we do get it. Around here locally, as we transition, talk a little weather, we've been socked in with clouds across North Florida for a solid part of the day. South Georgia, completely different. Mostly, if not abundantly sunny skies from, say, the state line all the way up to Atlanta and South Carolina. No rain in the clouds outside of a few small pockets of drizzle, which hardly even pop up on Titan HD radar. Just some very, very light mist from, at this point, I-10 south all the way to the coast. And you can find where the clouds are and where the clouds aren't. Almost a 5 to 10 degree difference between Tallahassee, Bainbridge, Moultrie, and Valdosta. South Georgia, you're going to be warmer because you got more sun. Simply put, North Florida, a little bit cooler throughout the day with more cloudiness. However, clouds are starting to break up right at the state line, and that trend will continue from the state line all the way to the coast. Not abundantly sunny in North Florida today, but still a solid mixture of clouds and sun. High temperatures will range from the 50s, where you have the clouds, to the 60s, where you have the sun. Still, though, any late night plans look good. No rain in the forecast right through the first half of the weekend, but that changes once we hit Sunday. We'll talk more weather throughout the new newscast. Greg, over to you. Sean, thank you. And coming up next, we're talking about Wreaths Across America and how you can help honor those who put their lives on the line to serve our country.